The phone call came 3 weeks before Dad's birthday. My brother Graham, using his official family business voice. Isabelle, we need to discuss Dad's 70th birthday celebration. I was in my office at the research hospital reviewing patient charts. Hey, what about it? It's going to be a significant event. A charity gala at the Grand Metropolitan Hotel. Black tie, 500 guests, major donors from the foundation. Very prestigious. Sounds nice. Right. So here's the thing. He paused. Dad doesn't want you to attend. I set down my pen. Excuse me. He thinks your presence would be problematic. You know how you are at family events. Awkward, out of place. This is important to him. His 70th, and he's being honored by the Children's Health Foundation for his years of board service. He wants it to be perfect. And I would make it imperfect. Come on, Isabelle. Don't be dramatic. You work at a free clinic. You drive that beat-up car. You dress like you shop at thrift stores. Dad's friends are all successful business people, philanthropists, society figures. You just stand out. In a bad way. I looked around my office. Diplomas on the wall. Harvard Medical School, Johns Hopkins for my residency, a fellowship in pediatric oncology. Awards from medical journals. Commendations from the American Medical Association. I see, I said calmly. I knew you'd understand. You've always been reasonable about this stuff. Look, we'll do a family dinner for Dad another time. Just the immediate family. You can give him a gift then. That's very thoughtful. Dad feels terrible about it, but you know how important appearances are to him. This gala is raising money for children's health programs. The foundation's biggest donors will be there. We can't have any distractions. Of course not. After Graham hung up, I pulled up my calendar. The gala was October 14th, 3 weeks away. I'd been planning to attend anyway, but clearly family and professional obligations were now in conflict. I called my assistant. Jennifer, the Children's Health Foundation gala on the 14th. Am I still scheduled to speak? Yes, Dr. Grant. You're giving the keynote address. The foundation asked specifically for you. Good. Let's confirm that. And make sure my name isn't on any public materials until the event. The director asked about that, actually. She wanted to put your photo on the invitations as founder and primary benefactor. Tell her to wait until the night of the event. I want it to be a surprise. Jennifer paused. Is everything okay? Everything's fine. Just some family complications. My family had always considered me the odd one. The one who didn't fit. My father, Richard Grant, was a real estate developer. Commercial properties, luxury condos, the kind of high-profile projects that appeared in business magazines. My mother had died when I was 12 and Dad had remarried 2 years later. Caroline, my stepmother, came from old money and brought her own children into the family. Graham and Victoria, both polished and ambitious. I'd been the awkward teenager who preferred books to parties, science to socializing. Who'd gone to medical school instead of business school. Who'd chosen pediatric oncology, one of the hardest, most emotionally demanding specialties, instead of something lucrative like plastic surgery. Who worked at what they called a free clinic, instead of opening a private practice in a wealthy neighborhood. What they didn't know, the free clinic, was actually Grant Children's Hospital, a state-of-the-art pediatric facility I'd founded and funded 10 years ago. It served underprivileged children across the city, providing world-class medical care regardless of ability to pay. The hospital operated under the broader umbrella of the Children's Health Foundation, a charitable organization I'd created with an initial donation of $150 million from my inheritance and subsequent earnings. Over 10 years, I'd donated a total of $340 million. My family had no idea. They thought I was a struggling doctor working at a charity clinic, barely making ends meet, too focused on saving the world to build real wealth or status. The truth? I was one of the foremost pediatric oncologists in the country. I'd developed treatment protocols that had improved survival rates for childhood leukemia by 17%. I'd published dozens of papers in leading medical journals. I'd been offered department chair positions at 3 major universities. And I'd built a foundation that had treated over 15,000 children and funded research that was changing pediatric medicine globally. But I drove a 10-year-old Subaru and wore scrubs to work, so obviously I was a failure. 2 days before the gala, Caroline called. Isabelle, darling. I wanted to personally explain about the birthday situation. Graham already explained. Dad doesn't want me there. It's not that he doesn't want you there exactly. It's just that this event is so important to him. He's being honored for his years of service to the Children's Health Foundation. All his business associates will be there, major donors, society people. You understand? I understand that my presence would be embarrassing. Not embarrassing, just out of place. You're wonderful, sweetheart, but you're not really the charity gala type. You're more comfortable in your clinic environment. My hospital, you mean? Your clinic, your hospital, whatever you call it. The point is, this event requires a certain level of sophistication. Black tie, formal dining, networking with wealthy donors. That's just not your world. Right. I'm so glad you're being reasonable about this. Victoria was worried you'd make a scene. Why would Victoria care? Well, she's on the foundation's Young Professionals Board. She helped organize the gala. It would be mortifying for her if her stepsister showed up looking, well, you know. Like I shop at thrift stores? Isabelle, nobody's judging you. We're just being practical. After she hung up, I called the foundation's executive director, Margaret Santos. Margaret, it's Isabelle. Dr. Grant. I was just reviewing your keynote speech. It's perfect. The board is so excited to finally publicly acknowledge your role as founder. About that. My father is being honored at the gala. Yes, Richard Grant. He's been on our advisory board for 5 years. Wonderful man. He doesn't know I founded the organization. Silence. I'm sorry, what? My family doesn't know about my involvement with the foundation. They think I work at a small charity clinic. But, Dr. Grant, you founded this organization. You've donated $340 million over 10 years. You personally oversee the medical programs. How do they not know? They've never asked about my work. They see me as the family embarrassment. That's insane. You're one of the most respected pediatric oncologists in the country. They don't know that either. Margaret was quiet for a moment. Do you want me to change the program? We don't have to acknowledge you publicly if... No. Proceed exactly as planned. My photo, the donation amount, everything. Even though your father will be there? Especially because my father will be there. He specifically uninvited me because he thinks I'd be too embarrassing to attend. Oh. I could hear the smile in her voice. Oh, this is going to be something. Yes, it is. Dr. Grant, for what it's worth, the work you've done through this foundation has saved thousands of children's lives. Your family should be incredibly proud of you. Thank you, Margaret. That means more than you know. The night of the gala, I dressed carefully. A floor-length emerald gown by Valentino, elegant without being flashy. My hair styled professionally. Diamond earrings. A gift to myself after my first major research breakthrough was published in the New England Journal of Medicine. I looked nothing like the thrift store shopper my family imagined. The Grand Metropolitan Hotel was spectacular. Crystal chandeliers, marble floors, elaborate floral arrangements. 500 guests in formal attire, a who's who of the city's philanthropic elite. I arrived through the VIP entrance, bypassing the main reception where my family was greeting guests. Security recognized me immediately. I'd been to the hotel multiple times for foundation events. Dr. Grant, good to see you. Your private balcony is ready. The VIP balcony overlooked the main ballroom, offering a perfect view of the stage and the tables below. I could see everything without being seen. I watched as guests arrived, found their seats, admired the decorations. The head table was directly in my line of sight. Dad, Caroline, Graham, and his wife Victoria and her husband. They looked pleased, important. Dad kept standing to shake hands with arriving guests, clearly enjoying his position as guest of honor. At 7:30, Margaret took the stage. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Children's Health Foundation's annual gala. Tonight we celebrate not only our work, but also the dedicated individuals who make it possible. She spoke about the foundation's mission, the programs funded, the children helped. Photos appeared on the large screens flanking the stage. Children receiving treatment, families grateful for care, medical staff providing services. We're particularly excited tonight, Margaret continued, to honor Richard Grant for his 5 years of service on our advisory board. Richard has been a dedicated volunteer attending meetings, offering strategic advice, and showing genuine commitment to our mission. Dad stood as applause filled the room. He waved, looking proud and humble simultaneously. Richard's dedication represents the kind of community involvement that makes our work possible, Margaret said. And speaking of making our work possible, before we continue with tonight's program, I want to take a moment to acknowledge someone very special. The lighting in the ballroom shifted. The screens changed. My professional headshot appeared, the one from my hospital ID, me in my white coat, stethoscope around my neck. I'd like to introduce, though many of you already know her, the founder and primary benefactor of the Children's Health Foundation. My father's head snapped up, staring at the screen. Dr. Isabelle Grant is a board-certified pediatric oncologist specializing in childhood leukemia and lymphoma. She completed her medical degree at Harvard, her residency at Johns Hopkins, and her fellowship at Boston Children's Hospital. The screen changed to show my credentials, my publications, my awards. 10 years ago, Dr. Grant had a vision, to create a world-class pediatric facility that would serve all children, regardless of their family's ability to pay. She founded this organization with an initial donation of $150 million. Gasps rippled through the ballroom. Since then, Dr. Grant has donated an additional $190 million, bringing her total contribution to $340 million. She has funded every major program we run. The Grant Children's Hospital, yes, Grant as in her family name, treats over 2,000 children annually. I watched my father's face go from tan to white. Dr. Grant personally oversees our medical programs. She still sees patients 3 days a week. Her research has been published in the New England Journal of Medicine, JAMA Pediatrics, and The Lancet. Her treatment protocols have improved childhood leukemia survival rates by 17% globally. The screen showed photos of me with patients in the operating room receiving awards, speaking at medical conferences. She has been offered department chair positions at Harvard, Stanford, and Johns Hopkins. She turned them all down because she prefers direct patient care and running this foundation. Margaret paused, looking directly at my father's table. Dr. Grant is also, and I only mention this because it's relevant tonight, Richard Grant's daughter. The ballroom erupted. Conversations exploded at every table. Heads swiveled between the screen showing my photo and my father's table. Dr. Grant couldn't be here tonight, Margaret said smoothly. She's traveling for a medical conference. But she wanted me to share with all of you the incredible impact your support has made possible. Thanks to Dr. Grant's vision and generosity, and the continued support of donors like all of you, we've transformed pediatric care in this city. She continued with the program, but I could see my family wasn't listening. Graham was on his phone frantically typing. Victoria's mouth was hanging open. Caroline looked like she might faint. Dad sat completely still, staring at the screen. Margaret finished her remarks and introduced the next speaker, a parent whose child had been treated at Grant Children's Hospital. She told a moving story about the care her daughter received, the doctors who saved her life, the foundation that made it possible. Dr. Grant personally treated my daughter, the woman said, tears streaming down her face. She spent hours with us, explaining every option, every risk, every possibility. He held my hand when I was terrified. She celebrated with us when Lily went into remission. She changed our lives. More testimonials followed. Patients, families, staff members, all praising the foundation and particularly the mysterious Dr. Grant who ran it. My family sat frozen at their table, drawing stares from other guests. Around 8:45, Graham stood abruptly and walked toward the exit. Caroline followed. Victoria grabbed her phone and left. Dad sat alone at the head table, surrounded by empty chairs. He looked up then, scanning the room. His eyes found the VIP balcony. Found me. We locked eyes across the distance. I lifted my champagne glass in a small salute. He stood so fast his chair fell backward. The crash echoed through the ballroom. Conversations stopped. Everyone turned to look. Dad was staring up at me, his face a mixture of shock and something I couldn't quite identify. He started walking toward the balcony stairs. Security intercepted him at the base of the stairs. I'd given them specific instructions. No one allowed in the VIP section during the event. Sir, this area is restricted, the security guard said. That's my daughter up there. Dad's voice carried across the now quiet ballroom. Sir, please return to your seat. I need to talk to her. Sir, you're disrupting the event. Please calm down or we'll need to escort you out. Graham had returned and grabbed Dad's arm. Dad, come on. Let's go outside. She's right there, Dad said, pointing up at me. Isabelle. More security appeared. Margaret had paused mid-speech, looking concerned. Gentlemen, the head of security said firmly, you need to leave now. You're disrupting a private event. This is my birthday party. Dad protested. Sir, this is a Children's Health Foundation gala. You're a guest being honored, but you don't own the event. Now please leave peacefully or we will remove you. My brother and stepmother managed to guide Dad toward the exit. He kept looking back at the balcony at me, his expression devastated. Security escorted them out. The ballroom was silent for a moment. Then Margaret returned to the microphone. I apologize for that interruption. Let's continue celebrating the incredible work of this foundation. She smoothly transitioned back to the program. The orchestra began playing. People returned to their conversations, though many kept glancing at the VIP balcony. I finished my champagne and watched the rest of the gala from above. At 10:30, after the last speech and the final dance, I made my way down to the ballroom. Guests who recognized me stopped to express gratitude, to share stories about children I'd treated, to thank me for my work. Margaret found me near the stage. That was quite a scene. Yes, it was. Your father seemed shocked. He had no idea I founded this organization. He thinks I work at a free clinic and struggle to pay rent. But you're a renowned pediatric oncologist who saved thousands of lives and donated $340 million to children's health. Yes. But I drive an old car, so obviously I'm a failure. She shook her head. Families are complicated. They are indeed. Are you okay? I'm fine. Better than fine, actually. Tonight went exactly as I hoped. Good. He squeezed my hand. For what it's worth, you're the most impressive person I've ever worked with. Your family should be incredibly proud. They will be. Once they get over the shock. I left through the VIP entrance, avoiding any lingering guests. My phone had been buzzing all evening, 47 missed calls, over 100 text messages. I didn't read any of them. At home, my struggling doctor apartment that was actually a beautifully renovated 3-bedroom condo I'd purchased 5 years ago. I changed into comfortable clothes and made tea. Then I finally looked at my phone. Graham *, call me right now. Victoria *, is this real? Are you the founder? Sis. Caroline *, Isabelle, we need to talk immediately. Dad *, please call me. Graham *, you founded the Children's Health Foundation? Sis. Victoria *, you donated $340 million? Sis. Caroline *, why didn't you tell us? Sis. Dad *, Isabelle, please. I need to understand *. On and on. Shock, confusion, demands for explanation. I didn't respond to any of them. Instead, I pulled up my patient schedule for Monday. 3 consultations, 2 follow-up appointments, 1 surgical case. A full day of doing what I loved. Treating children, saving lives, making a difference. My family could process their shock without me. Sunday morning, they appeared at my door. All of them. Dad, Caroline, Graham, Victoria. I opened the door but didn't invite them in. Isabelle. Dad's voice was hoarse, like he'd been crying. Please. We need to talk. About what? About everything. About the foundation, about your work, about the fact that you've apparently been one of the most successful doctors in the city and we had no idea. You had no idea because you never asked. Can we please come in? I stepped aside and let them enter. They looked around my apartment with new eyes. The modern furniture, the art on the walls, the space and light. Not the struggling student's studio they'd imagined. We sat in my living room, me on the love seat, them crowded onto the sofa and chairs. Start explaining, Graham said. How is this possible? How is what possible? That I became a doctor? That I'm good at my job? That I care about helping children? That you founded a $340 million foundation and never told us? I told you 10 years ago that I was starting a pediatric clinic. Dad said it was a waste of time and I should focus on building a private practice where I could make real money. Dad flinched. I don't remember that. I do. It was at your birthday dinner. Your 61st. I'd just received my inheritance from Mom's trust, $150 million that you didn't know she'd set aside for me. I told you I was going to use it to start a foundation. You laughed and said I was too idealistic to understand how the real world works. Isabelle. So I stopped telling you things. I built the foundation. I opened the hospital. I developed treatment protocols that are now used internationally. I saved thousands of children's lives. And you thought I was a failure because I didn't drive a Mercedes. Caroline was crying. We didn't think you were a failure. Didn't you? You uninvited me from Dad's birthday because I'd be too embarrassing. You said I wasn't the charity gala type, and I'd be out of place with sophisticated donors. We didn't know. You didn't ask. For 10 years, you didn't ask what I was doing, how my work was going, what I'd accomplished. You saw my Subaru and my scrubs and decided I was struggling. Victoria found her voice. I'm on the foundation's Young Professionals Board. I've been volunteering there for 2 years. How did I not know you founded it? Biz, you never asked. The foundation employs 300 people. You volunteer once a month at fundraising events. Why would you know the founder? Because you're my sister. Am I? Because you told Dad's friends I was too embarrassing to attend his birthday party. She had no answer. Dad stood up and walked to the window. His shoulders were shaking. Dad. I'm so proud of you. His voice broke. I'm so incredibly proud and so utterly ashamed of myself. Ashamed. He turned around, tears streaming down his face. You've saved thousands of children. You've built something extraordinary. You've changed pediatric medicine. And I told you that you'd be too embarrassing to attend my birthday party. Yes, you did. I'm so sorry. I'm so deeply, profoundly sorry. For what specifically? For not being interested in my work? For assuming I was failing? For caring more about appearances than accomplishments? All of it. Everything. For being such a terrible father that my brilliant, accomplished, generous daughter felt she had to hide her success from me. I felt something crack in my chest. You made it very clear that my choices weren't valuable. That helping sick children wasn't as important as making money. That my work didn't matter. I was wrong. About everything. Graham spoke up. The woman who spoke tonight. The one whose daughter you treated. She said you held her hand when she was scared. I did. You do that. With all your patients' families. When they need it, yes. That's. He couldn't finish. That's incredible, Isabelle. You're incredible. I'm just doing my job. Your job is saving children's lives. Victoria said. How did we not see that? How did we think that wasn't important? Because you measured success in money and status instead of impact and purpose. Caroline wiped her eyes. Can you forgive us? I don't know yet. What can we do? Dad asked. How do we fix this? I looked at them, my family who'd finally realized they'd been wrong about me for a decade. Start by actually being interested in my work. Visit the hospital. Meet my patients. See what I've built. Not because I'm secretly rich or influential, but because the work itself matters. We can do that, Dad said quickly. We will do that. And stop measuring my worth by my car and my clothes. I dress practically because I work with sick children. I drive a reliable car because I don't need to prove anything to anyone. Those choices don't make me a failure, they make me practical. We understand, Graham said. Do you? Because 3 days ago you told me I'd be too awkward and out of place to attend a charity gala. At a foundation I created. That I've funded with $340 million. That I personally run. He looked miserable. I'm so sorry. The worst part, I said quietly, isn't that you didn't know about my work. It's that you never thought to ask. For 10 years, you assumed I was failing and you never once asked if I needed help, how I was really doing, what I was actually accomplishing. You just decided I was the family embarrassment and treated me accordingly. We were wrong, Dad said. Completely, utterly wrong. Yes, you were. He sat back down, looking older than his 70 years. The foundation director said you turned down department chair positions at Harvard, Stanford, and Johns Hopkins. I did. Why? Because I prefer treating patients directly and running programs that help children who couldn't otherwise afford care. Academic positions are prestigious, but they're not where I can make the biggest difference. You chose impact over prestige. Yes. That's been my priority all along. You just couldn't see it. We sat in silence for a long moment. Your mother would be so proud of you, Dad finally said. She always believed you'd do something extraordinary. I felt tears prick my eyes. She left me that inheritance specifically for this purpose. She knew I'd use it to help people. And you did. You built exactly what she hoped you would. I wish she could have seen it. She can, Dad said. Wherever she is, she can see it. And she's proud. Just like I should have been all along. Victoria spoke up hesitantly. Can I visit the hospital? See your work. You've been volunteering there for 2 years. I mean, really see it. Tour the facility. Meet your staff. Understand what you've built. I looked at her. Why? Because you're my sister and I've spent 2 years volunteering at your hospital without knowing it was yours. That's embarrassing and shameful, and I want to actually know you instead of the version I made up in my head. Hey, I'm there Monday through Wednesday. You can visit any of those days. I'll be there Monday. Graham nodded. Me too. I want to see it. Dad stood up. Can I take you to dinner? Please. Just you and me. Let me try to start fixing this. I considered it. Looked at his devastated face, his genuine remorse, his desperate desire to make things right. Next Sunday, I said. 7 p.m. But not somewhere fancy. Somewhere we can actually talk. Anywhere you want. I'll be there. They left slowly, each of them stopping to hug me, to apologize again, to express their regret and admiration. After they were gone, I sat in my living room processing everything. My phone buzzed. A text from Margaret. The gala raised $2.3 million. Record-breaking. Thank you for everything you do. I smiled and put my phone down. Tomorrow I'd return to work. See patients. Save lives. Do what I'd been doing all along. Tonight I'd sit in my embarrassing apartment and feel satisfied. Because I'd built something real. Something that mattered. Something my family had finally learned to see. And whether they approved or not, the work would continue. The children would be treated. The lives would be saved. And that was worth more than any birthday party.